Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women's Soccer Show. I'm Sara.
And I'm Amy.
You've got your favorite guest co-host here today. Amy O'Connor is here to break down all things quarterfinals. A brand new record, 112,535. It's the highest combined attendance across a women's Euros quarterfinal stage. Here's the situation. The France-Germany game just ended. We both just cracked a beer. Well, I actually cracked my beer right before Penalties started, so cheers. It's 3 p.m. my time, and I'm halfway through a beer because that was insane. Hands down, as you said, Amy, probably some of the best quarterfinals across the board that we've seen.
Across the board in any sort of football, it's been insane.
Absolutely insane.
The back-to-back games, the four of them. I'd say ranking them in order. The Spain game, Switzerland game was probably the least entertaining, but
still more than we thought it would be, though.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Switzerland. Sorry, we'll talk about them a little bit more, but I think the excitement of the two games going to penalties, just how many penalties have been missed in this tournament is insane. The goalkeeping has been top draw. So many goals from free play. So many good goals from free play. I mean, we talked about the Spain game, but Spain scored some worldly goals. That the second goal for them was unreal yesterday. So much to talk about.
My team's not even in it, and I feel like my heart has taken a beating in the past 4 days where it's just been nonstop. My heart rate is elevated. Almost all of them have been games where the game ends, and my body feels like I physically just played a soccer game because my heart rate's been elevated for 90 minutes, if not more.
I was like, why am I nervous for these penalty kicks? I'm not even, concerned about. England's not in them, but it's just, I guess, PTSD as an England fan for my whole life, being nervous about penalties.
Well, how do you think I felt when England and Sweden went to pens?
Oh yeah, you were willing Sweden to lose, though. You know, I know you were.
I went back and forth a lot that game with who I was rooting for based on just who I disliked the most in that moment. But we'll come on to it. We're gonna get into the quarterfinals. Let's just jump into it because there's so much to discuss. We're gonna go chronologically, so we're gonna kick it off with Norway, Italy. Let's do it. Norway versus Italy, the winners of Group A versus the second of Group B. Listen, right now, this game feels like ages ago, so maybe I don't even know where to start. I had Italy picked to win this game because Norway are Norway, and the way Italy showed up against Spain was impressive, and so I can't say I'm all that surprised by this result.
No, I think you asked me before the game who I thought was going to win, and I had the upset of Italy. Italy is the dark horse in this competition for a reason. They beat Spain recently in Spain, which is a huge result. So there are no mean feat coming into this. They shouldn't be overlooked. I think that going into the next round, England should be wary of what Italy can bring going forward, especially. We've seen England with some pretty poor defending in the last game and against France. So Italy with their pace can scare England. And I think it would have been really unjust if Norway had gone through in this game just because of they haven't impressed anybody in the group stages. They finished top with 9 points, granted, but they flattered to deceive. They weren't very good in a group that they should have got out of. They definitely should have got out of that group, and you would have fancied them to do so. So I think we saw their best player miss a penalty, as we've seen a lot of people in this tournament. That was her second penalty miss. I mean, I give her credit for stepping up and trying to score the penalty after missing the first one that she took in the group stages.
Yeah.
But again, Norway's backline has never, ever had pace. And any team that they come up against with pace is going to be scary for them. And we've seen that they've got a great forward line, but defensively poor, and the midfield, not that great either. I would say the central midfield area lacks any sort of, standouts.
They were nowhere to be found in this game. Norway's midfield was literally nowhere to be found, which is shocking when you look at how many players on that team are standout midfielders, which maybe before we get on to Italy, let's just stay on Norway for a second. We have to talk about why Guro Reiten was playing left back.
Well, that's a simple reason, right? Norway's defense is not good enough. We just said that. There's no pace at the back, and Guro Reiten can bring pace and some sort of tenacity, but it's wasted. It's so wasted.
That's what I'm saying. I would rather, Gua Wrighton's not going to solve all your problems by pulling her into the back line. So why not put her into the midfield where she could actually maybe solve some problems, maybe help keep possession in the midfield, maybe play a little bit of Italy's game against them, because Italy's going to take it right to you, and Gua Wrighton could do the same thing. I think it was a mistake. We've seen a lot of good players for Norway, world-class players playing out of position in this tournament. We saw Caroline Graham-Hampson playing out of position. Why in the world is she playing out of position in, I think it was the first group stage, maybe the second group stage game? It doesn't really make sense to me. None of us are really going to have the answer as to, like, what in the world. Why is Norway?
It's disappointing for them, though, right? Because they are traditionally a team who's been competitive on the international stage from the beginning. From the beginning of when women's football became very, at the forefront and became very popular, especially in the early days when we were talking about the US, China, those sorts of teams. Norway were there. They were amongst it. Now they've tailed off. They don't have the quality of the back, which is why we're seeing these adjustments being made. And I think that Graham Hansen, again, is another one who's goes into major competitions, phenomenal player, and then we just don't see the best of her. It's so frustrating. It must be frustrating for all Norwegian fans.
It must be frustrating for her too. I guess the question is, like, is it managerial? Is it about how the players gel? Is it purely personnel that they just literally don't have the pace in the back line to compete in major tournaments? Is it all of the above? I kind of think it's managerial, to be honest, because if you look across the board, you look at the players on this roster, I can't find another reason, if you see who is on this roster, that Norway wouldn't be performing at a higher level.
Well, they're not attracting the quality type of manager you want, right? I mean, Gemma Granger managed Wales before she came into this position. She didn't really have a lot of success with them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough job to, but we've seen Wales now. They've come to a major tournament with a new manager, so it's obviously doable. They can get there. I think that Gemma Granger's done more than the previous two managers have done. We have to say that, getting them through the group stages, and yeah, they're just not attracting that caliber of manager to that position that you would expect for Norway, with arguably Ballon d'Or winner Ada Hegerberg up front, who's got to also be super frustrated with the continuous lack of progression with the team and getting to later stages of competitions.
We could see it in that game. We could see it on her face. That's why I'm like, it has to be managerial, because you can see how much these players wanted to win. You could see it on Ada Hegerberg's face. You could see it all across the board. And yeah, I mean, it's got to be insanely frustrating for Norway. I really do feel for these players. I mean, it's kind of wild to me that you have a team and you've got, somebody like Elizabeth Turland, who's been a pretty standout player in the WSL. She's coming off of the bench. You've got Vilde Borisa coming off the bench. You've got a bunch of players. I mean, it just shows how deep this Norway team is. It's got to be incredibly frustrating. I know Ada Hegerberg missed 2 penalty kicks in this tournament. I feel for her. She also scored the sole Norway goal in this game. I thought, all things considered, she had an incredible tournament, despite the 2 misses.
Yeah, no criticism on her. When anybody steps up to take a penalty, fair play. Even if you miss it, you're still stepping up and you're still, having the courage to do so. So, she missed whatever. She scored, so that's great. But I still look at the back line and I think, Mjelde, how old is she? Playing centre back there. There has to be other Norwegian players coming through that, a little bit younger, a little bit more sprightly.
She's 35, by the way.
Right. I mean, 35 playing. I mean, you watch a 33-year-old Lucy Bronze play out of her skin against Sweden on Thursday, but I just don't think that there's much legs left in her, and it has to be a rebuild of that back line. Whether you take some losses along the way and you see what works best, then so be it.
As weird as it is, as weird as this is, I can safely say now, as a 33-year-old, when you get into your 30s, every year feels like it's actually a huge difference. So the difference between a 33 and a 35-year-old, it's actually kind of massive. And I never understood that until I now got to this point of 33, where I feel very different than I felt when I was 31. And I think that it's even more incremental when you get older. So I think that that's totally fair.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'm in my 40s and I've just retired from football, so
we all aspire to that, though. Let's talk about Italy and Cristiana Girelli, who scored both of Italy's goals and has been just outstanding this tournament.
How can we not talk about her?
I think that might be the only player we need to discuss.
Well, I also think Caruso in the middle is
That's
phenomenal.
true. That's true.
Yeah, I think we got to give some shout outs to her because I think she is a top centre mid. And yeah, with Italy know what their strengths are and they play to their strengths, and that's why they won this game, right? They got the ball out wide, they crossed it, phenomenal cross. I mean, similar to Chloe Kelly's for Lucy Bronze's goal, right? They're basically a similar cross, and Giorelli comes in back post. I thought she was going to head it over because it was quite high, but it was a perfect header back across the goal. Keeper's got no chance, and Italy is dreaming, and I think that they deserved it. I think me and you were both kind of backing them to win. We wanted them to win. And I think everybody who was neutral was kind of expecting a Norway failure and willing a Italy win, just for the pure heart and how they played and knowing that they had a game plan and tactics set out to win the game. And they executed perfectly.
The most shocking thing about this game was that it was 0-0 at halftime. Neither of these teams are known for their defense. And so the fact that I expected a goal fest, the fact that it was nothing at halftime was utterly shocking. The second half brought all the chaos that we wanted and deserved and expected out of this game. And hey, I mean, like you said, Italy won by doing what they do best. And this is a great transition into talking about the next quarterfinal game because Italy are going to face England in the semifinal. And their strength is arguably England's weakness. I mean, they just take it straight down the middle. They use speed. They'll go right for your throat. And England have had a hard time handling that.
Definitely. I think England's weakness is for everybody to see. It's that ball
Just don't say a name. Just don't say a name. Don't say a name.
It's the ball in behind, and it's the lack of pace from a specific player at the back.
You say the name.
Okay, if that specific player starts the game on Tuesday, I'll be very surprised because Jess Carter was absolutely ghosted for both goals. I mean, I'm looking at Leah Williamson for the second and asking, why didn't you come across? Why didn't you come across? Why didn't you make there's nobody in the middle. Why didn't you go across and intercept that? Because you have pace, Leah.
Big time.
And you can get back. So I was a little bit questionable from her side as well. I think Leah's had a great tournament. I'm not knocking her for that, but Jess Carter has been destroyed there. And we made the switch to put Alex Greenwood at left back, which I think has been a smart decision, to be honest. I think Alex Greenwood has had a really good tournament. Wherever you've asked her to play, she's played well. It's Jess Carter who we've had to accommodate for. We've had to move her from the left back because she got blitzed in the first game against France. And then we put her at centre-back and thought, okay, well, she'll do better there. And against France, she did a little bit better when we put her at centre-back. But this game, she was so exposed just because the two games we played before that against the Netherlands, they don't have pace up front. God bless Viv Miedemar, but she doesn't have pace. She's great, phenomenal player. And then Wales, we knew that we could beat Wales quite comfortably if we showed up, and we did. And so she wasn't tested in those games. Fast forward to Sweden, here we are. I mean, Aslani is not even that quick. She's knocking on, but Jess Carter seems
Blackstenius has pace, though.
Blackstenius, yes, no question. But I think positionally, out of position, give yourself a little bit of a head start here. If you know you haven't got pace, you're going to have to drop off, and that includes the rest of the back four to accommodate for her. You know what you're playing with.
So you're saying, maybe we'll come on to this after we talk England-Sweden, but a little sneak preview. Are you saying that it'll be a problem for England if Jess Carter starts, and otherwise we'll see?
100%.
Okay.
Jess Carter better not start. All I'm saying. Esme Morgan did well when she come on. Why not start her?
Well, to wrap it up for Norway, Italy, we say goodbye to Norway. You made it further than any of us thought you would before the draw. Once the draw happened and we saw what group you were in, you made it exactly as far as we all assumed you would. Not trying to be disparaging. I love all of the players on this Norwegian side. And hey, the players put in a great effort. And Italy just were the better team on that day.
I think we say this about Norway every tournament. Oh, we feel bad for them. We feel bad for them. When are they going to actually show up? I mean, I don't feel bad for them anymore. It's fun to show up. I honestly don't.
Fair enough. All right, we already got into the nitty-gritty of it, but let's get into it even further. We're going to talk about the second quarterfinal game because as it began, Sweden versus England, we knew that the winner was going to go face Italy in the semi-finals, and oh my God, I don't know what to say other than England went on penalties 3-2. Sweden were winning for the entire game. Maslany scored a goal in the 2nd minute. Blackstenius scored in the 25th minute. England looked like they were going to put on, honestly, one of the most embarrassing performances they've had in the international stage after the first 45 minutes. And they turned it around like we have never seen or rarely ever seen teams turn it around. And the image of Lucy Bronze taping up her leg as if she was like, you know what? I don't need blood flow here. Let's just go with one leg, because the trainers are dealing with the other part of the war zone that's happening over there with Hannah Hampton's bloody nose, and I forget who else was down. Maybe
Alex
it was Alex Greenwood. Yeah. Just wild scenes. Leah Williamson exited with an injury. Just a note on that, the England camp has come out and said that they're not going to give any injury updates on Leah Williamson. They're going to practice behind closed doors, and that's it. They're not going to let Italy know what their game plan is. So we won't know if Leah Williamson can go until the game, until we see if she's either in the starting lineup, if she's on the bench, but she's dressed. Honestly, we won't know. That will certainly affect everything. But let's get back to it. Lucy Bronze in the 79th minute off of a cross from none other than the ice-cold woman herself, Chloe Kelly, who everybody's giving Bronzy props. I'm going to have to give Chloe Kelly the same props, because then she also had the cross for the equalizer. Chloe Kelly with the cross to Michelle Agamon, the 18-year-old.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I was sitting there like, why are you putting an 18-year-old for her 3rd cap in this game right now? You know what, Sarina? Good for you, because I mean, that equalizer, that was the 79th and 81st minute. 2 minutes in between England's 2 goals. Goes to extra time. Nothing happens. Goes to pens. We'll get onto the pens because, I mean, that's a larger discussion. We'll have a discussion about the penalty kicks. But I'll start with you, Amy. Where do you want to begin in this game?
Proper England. Just, like everybody's using the phrase proper England, and that was proper England. I mean, they put us through it from the beginning, right? When we didn't do anything the easy way, as Beth Mead says, we do it the hard way. And I think that there was a lot of talk at this game, like, oh, England are already in the semi-finals, you know, and I think that really played into Sweden's hands. They had a game plan. They had a good game plan, and they played really well, and a lot of credit to them.
Was there chatter like that in the for you?
I don't think in the England. Not in the England camp. There would never be that kind of chatter. I think.
But I mean, for you as an England fan, because for me as a neutral in this game, I was sitting here like, you know what? Maybe mentally Germany are going to be tougher for England, but on the field, Sweden were the harder opponent, and that was clear as day.
I think because going back to the 2022 semi-final when we won 4-0 against them, right? We beat them quite handily.
Yeah.
There's always that
Alessia Russo back heel.
Yeah, there's always that expectation, right, that England's going to bring it in the major competitions, and that Sweden being, you know, inferior, which they're not, because they're ranked 6th and we're ranked 5th. So there's one place between us in the world ranking. So the recent friendly we played against them too was a 1-1. It was a very close game. It was not a walk in the park by any means. And I think that what Sweden have shown is that they can beat the best teams in the world. I mean, they beat the US in the World Cup, sorry to throw that back out there, but they did. And they had a game plan, and they execute game plans well. They do. And they knew what they were doing. They pressed so high on Jess Carter, and they knew that that was the weak person, and it worked for them. It worked for them almost 3 times, because Carter almost gave the ball away in the 1st minute as well, and that should have been a warning for her. What are you doing? Do not play that ball across. So, like, lackadaisical across the back line there. So, and I think that with the talent they have, Canarid is an unreal winger, like one of the best in the game.
Unbelievable. I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to give her the due props that she has deserved. Because for those who don't know, she plays for Chelsea. She was wearing number 19 for Sweden. I mean, I don't know what to say about her other than how, I mean, she is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the most underrated player maybe in this entire tournament.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of the Millie Bright and Rachel Daly podcast, and they just had a little chat about her. And, you know, Rachel Daly said that she was thankful she wasn't playing left back anymore for England, because she did not want to play against her. And Millie Bright obviously is her teammate and plays with her week in, week out, and trains with her every day. And she's just, the energy that she provides, she will carry that ball up the pitch in the 90th minute. And, and she's got that little chop, that little chop cut back that she's the Ronaldo chop. I love her style. I love the way she plays. Obviously, I'm a rival fan. I'm a Man United fan, but you can't help but admire somebody who's that comfortable on the ball. She's similar to Lauren James in the way that she can carry the ball and kind of sticks to her feet. And I think that for Sweden, I'm sad to see her go out of the tournament because she was somebody that we enjoyed watching. And I think that their whole team played well. Angeldal was amazing through the whole tournament as well. I think that she had her spell at Manchester City, and that went a little bit under the radar of how good she is as a player because she's very good as a holding midfielder. And I think that also going forward, she can score goals, as we've seen. So, and then Blackstenius, who I've thought has been kind of hit and miss as a striker, has had a very, very good season for Arsenal. Scored the winning goal in the Champions League final and has been really good this tournament and scored the goal, the second goal, which she deserved because she just outpaced Jess Carter and finished really nicely in the corner. So
big time. That second goal was also the one where you were saying Leah Williamson should have been closer on the cover. That's absolutely a positional error. But I mean, you're calling out all these Swedish players. I couldn't agree more. Blackstenius, she did better coming off of the bench for Arsenal. I was unsure how she would show up for the national team, if she would do better coming off the bench for them as well, or if she would be able to pull through as that true number 9 as the starter. And she pulled through big time. She was causing arguably the most trouble for that back line. This is a Sweden team that, I mean, you look across the board, right? Magda Eriksson holds down the back line. Anderson in that left back position. She's been there for ages. You mentioned Aslani. We've got Rolfo, Blackstenius. They said on the broadcast, this is on average the oldest team in the tournament. And this really did feel like it was kind of do or die for this generation of Swedish players. This was the last moment. It does feel like there needs to be an overhaul before 2027 in Brazil. So I really do feel for them because they had it. They had it in their hands at halftime. But I unfortunately, I think we've seen probably the last of Sweden in this era of all of these stars playing together. And they, like you said, their class. They knew how to go far in a tournament. They knew how to execute a game plan. They frustrated team after team, tournament over tournament. And yeah, I mean, it was just like the will of Chloe Kelly and Lucy Bronze that brought England to victory, quite frankly. It was nothing else because they were frustrating England. I mean, what Sweden were able to do in that midfield, they locked down Walsh, and then they somehow also closed off those pathways to both Toon and Stanway. It was a masterclass, frankly.
Yeah, I think that Toon, this is her worst game of the tournament, and she's had a good tournament, and they shut those avenues, those passing lanes. They just killed them off. We couldn't find Toon at all. And then I think once Lauren James went into that role, it became a little bit better, and made her free up on that. She was on the right side and brought her into the middle. But I think I was kind of head in my hands so many times during that first 70 minutes, and then Sarina's changes finally came, and I was like, why are we waiting so long to make the changes?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Let's talk about that because we thought that there were going to be changes at halftime. There were no changes at halftime. It approached 60 minutes. I texted you. Still no changes. In the 60th, she usually makes changes in the 65th. Like, Sarina is famous for A, not changing her starting lineup, and B, she will make changes on the dot. And so that dot is usually 65 minutes. Didn't happen at 65. And I was sitting there too, like, what are we doing? Why are we not doing anything? I think it had to be within the first 60 seconds of Chloe Kelly coming onto that pitch that things changed. And this is why I partially have to just give Chloe Kelly the credit that she is owed, because in certain moments, yeah, it can be about tactics, but it is mainly also about the fire, the energy, the calmness, the composure, like the belief that Chloe Kelly has in those moments that she will pull through, and then that radiating to the rest of the team. Same with Lucy Bronze. That Chloe Kelly changed this game, in my opinion.
Well, I think the change of formation made Lucy Bronze come alive, because what happened was it might have been subtle and you might not have noticed it, but England went to a back three.
I noticed it.
And they pushed Lucy Bronze on high, which is why she was able to score that header, because she was gunning it for the back post because she was higher up the pitch. So I think the change of formation ignited Lucy Bronze, and also the fact that Williamson had gone off and she was given the captain's armband was like okay, like this is my moment type thing. I know Lucy Bronze I don't think she wants to be the captain of England. I don't think she wants that as
No,
a
but
person.
she put it on her shoulders.
But she definitely put it on her shoulders, and we saw a captain's performance from her for that last 20 minutes. Extra time and penalties was like a proper captain's performance. Not say Leah Williamson's not a proper captain, because she's 100% a proper captain, but that was a captain's performance from Lucy Bronze.
Yeah. Let's get a quote from Sarina in here. She said, quote, "Lucy Bronze is one of a kind. I have never, ever seen this before in my life. That penalty, the goal, but that's not even what defines her. It's the resilience, that fight." Like, Sarina has seen a lot. This is a woman who has coached on many teams, many international teams. And if you see some of her post-game interviews, she's like visibly shaken. She's just stunned. There's a really funny one from the mix zone where she's just kind of like recapping the game. She was like, "I don't know. I mean, then we were down by 2 goals, and then we scored, and then we scored again, and then it was overtime." And she just like, she couldn't say anything other than just to like recap the game. She was visibly stunned.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, as problematic as Phil Neville was as a coach, he really had the highest praise for Lucy Bronze and said that she was one of the best players he'd ever seen play the game at any level, men's and women's. So, like, for him to say that, obviously, is he's played professional football all of his life for a top-class men's team. So, Lucy Bronze is probably the most decorated English footballer of all time. We forget that, how good she is. Like, at 33, still doing it. It gives me goosebumps just to think about how good she is still. And I don't know if this is going to be her last tournament, and that's why she played like that. You just don't know, right? Like, this could be it for her. I still think she's got one more left in her, but we'll see.
I think she's got one more.
Yeah, but back to Chloe Kelly. Chloe Kelly's England tapes are, come on, man. Like, her and Ella Tombs seem to have these moments for England that are just like inspirational moments, and they can bring it for us in moments when we need them the most. And I think Chloe Kelly's move to Arsenal set her free. She was clearly unhappy at Manchester City. So much went on there. And then what also happened when she went to Arsenal was that Caldente became more of a free player too. And you saw the best out of Caldente because she was not stuck to the right side, right? And you know, you've got Beth Mead in there too. So that side of the pitch was, for Arsenal, was arguably the strongest, right? You've got those 3 players. And I think that they all kind of helped to improve each other's games and make Arsenal a better team especially for that running in the Champions League final. So, Chloe Kelly, unreal. And, you know, the delivery for the first goal was spot on. It was on her head. She like could not miss that.
Couldn't have been more perfect. For me, as a U.S. Women's National Team fan, obviously I have flashbacks to the Rapinoe Wombat goal against Brazil. If you know, you know. If you don't, Google it. I think it's crazy for us to sit here and say, this changed the game, this changed the game, when clearly what changed the game is what's circulating all around the internet, which is Sarina's note that was getting passed around.
There's a lot of speculation about what that was.
Have you seen all of the memes on the internet about what that was? It's so
there's just
funny.
A picture of like a goat and Lucy Bronze, and like, they're just passing that around. And then,
I think it was Esme Morgan in her post game press conference I think she literally posted on Instagram. She was like, "Oh, the note, for all of you wondering, the note just said, 'Go save us, goat,' and then Lucy Bronze did."
Yeah. Wait, let's talk about Aggie Mang's goal, though, because like we can't overlook that, because
that's true. We really can't.
She's not getting enough credit for what she's done. She's had 3 England appearances. She's scored in 2 of them. And she almost scored against France. She changed the game against France when she came on. We went to 2 forwards, and it changed the game. And I think that this woman has an amazing future ahead of her for England, because what she offers is something that Russo doesn't offer, and we need that. We need someone different who can offer something more, you know, dynamic, a threat in the air. I mean, I'm not saying Russo isn't, but she is just a presence that is to be felt in the box, and we need that. We need a striker in the box who has instinct, and that second goal was instinct. It fell to her instinctively, finish. And again, it's from a Chloe Kelly cross, a Beth Mead header down, and a finish. There's an Arsenal connection there, right? They knew what they were doing.
That's right. I mean, listen, like you said, we hadn't seen her a lot. And for this to be her 3rd cap and her to finish like that in that moment in that game, it has to be instinct, because otherwise anybody else in that situation who doesn't have that instinct, there's no way they can come up big like that. And what she's done, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, she's not getting the credit she deserves, because she deserves just as much as we're giving to Bronze and Kelly. Her name needs to be in there too.
And Hannah Hampton, because there's
oh my gosh, Hannah Hampton. The best meme actually might be the one of Hannah Hampton next to the She's the Man character with the tampon up her nose.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that one.
Yep. All right. For the record, 7.4 million people watched this in England. We got to talk about the penalty kicks. Obviously, Chloe Kelly and Lucy Bronze buried theirs. I just want to say Lucy Bronze had the most Lucy Bronze quote afterwards. She was asked about the penalty kick and she said, quote, "Statistically, it's risky for the goalkeeper to stand still. So yeah, I love maths." And that was all she said.
I mean, she's played the ratios, hasn't she?
That's it. She played the ratios. Okay, I don't think we need to get into the nitty gritty of this penalty kick situation, but we do need to talk about it maybe on a larger scale and just have this conversation now, because everybody's saying that these are some of the worst penalty kicks we've ever seen, just like across the board. Statistically, yeah, it's been pretty wild. I do want to give credit where credit is due to the goalkeepers, because it has been partially goalkeepers, but we've also seen a shocking number of just like shocking penalty kicks. And when I say that, it's either like you missed the goal completely. We've seen penalty kicks not even make it on frame, and we've seen plenty that are hand height, not driven well. I don't know. Is there anything even to discuss, or just what do you think it is, Amy? I don't feel like there's much to discuss. It's just been poor.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm a little bit at a loss to say like what the actual, like, to pinpoint it. I think the goalkeeping's got better.
Yeah.
Women's football in general, the goalkeeping has got, exponentially better.
Yeah.
And I think the goalkeepers are doing more research. You see, obviously, the notes on the water bottles about which direction they're going to go in. I mean, we saw Anne-Catherine Berger's on the back of her water bottle today, successfully. There seems like a lack of conviction when they're taking penalties. When England stepped up, it just looked like a lack of conviction, like not really any confidence behind what they were doing. And also, kind of just that stutter step does help. I know, like, people talk about, I don't like the stutter step.
I'm not big on the stutter step.
I know you're not, but
how do you know?
Because you've told me, you said it before. When you do the stutter step, what it does is it gives you the opportunity to see what the keeper's going to do. And there was a good use of the stutter step in the game today, where they stepped up, stuttered, and then boom, scored. And I think that the stutter step has its place. And it's not used as frequently as it should in the women's game. It's used a lot more in the men's game, because it puts the keeper, in more indecisive than they would be with the stutter step. I also think that there's something to be said about a driven penalty with conviction into the bottom corner, which we're not seeing at all.
That's why I don't like the stutter step. I was always one to just be like, I'm going to pick my corner and I'm going to drive it there as hard as I can, period, the end.
Yeah. And I think we've been also seeing a lot of players who've skied the ball because they're trying to drive it and they're not getting over the ball and just driving it high.
Yeah.
And Sweden did that a lot.
And I'm not here to like poo-poo on them. I've done that in a big moment where I needed to score a penalty kick and I've skied it, and it's literally the worst feeling in the world. It feels worse than when you get megged. Like, it's just terrible. It's humiliating. It's the last thing you want. So I feel for them. But it has been pretty surprising.
Yeah, I do feel for them. Obviously, I'm going to say it again, when you step up and you take a penalty, you have the nerve and the courage to do so. So
Agreed.
I don't think we're going to blame anybody and say, oh my God, they're a terrible player, because we know they're not terrible players. I mean, England's penalty taker had gone off, right? Stanway had gone off. Walsh had also gone off. I don't know if Walsh was going to take one or not. And I would hope that Williamson would have taken one, because she's really good at striking a ball. So you look at that and you think, okay, well, 3 of them have gone off. And then I don't understand why Sweden elected for their goalkeeper to take the winning penalty. Why?
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, goalkeepers can be great at penalty kicks. We saw Lessenayer do it. We saw Anne-Catherine Berger bury hers today. It was a little weird.
Have you heard this goalkeeper being like that type of goalkeeper, though?
Oh, I have not.
Because, like, I know that Alyssa Nair can score a penalty. We know that Anne-Catherine Berger can score a penalty.
Yeah. But I've never seen Falk in a shootout, so I don't know. But, it is an interesting one when you look at
was still available to take a penalty, right?
Sweden, yeah, who Sweden still had on the field. It was an interesting choice.
It was, and we can go back and say hindsight, right? Like, if she scores and she wins it, then we're like, oh, that's a great decision. But yeah, it's just a question in that and why some of the other players did not step up and take that responsibility. Considering I thought their goalkeeper had a really good game, and I thought that she was great in the penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And besides the miss, you know, she did everything she could.
Yeah. Apparently, Michelle Ajiman was next after Lucy Bronze.
Okay.
Just saying.
I mean, ballsy, right?
I love
You're
it.
18. Yeah.
I love it.
Unreal.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Let's just do this now. All right, so semifinal number 1.
Tuesday.
Thank you. It will be played
at
on
3 p.m.
Tuesday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT. Yeah, British, whatever you're in right now, BST, GMT, whatever the UK is in. England against Italy. Amy, what do you expect? What do you hope?
What do I hope? I hope that we turn up like we did against the Netherlands, to be honest. I hope that we turn up with the conviction and the tenacity that we turned up with against the Netherlands. I think that England, on their day, beats Italy 99.9% of the time.
Well, that's the issue with England, though, isn't it? Where on their best day, they could beat any team. But is that best day going to be on that semifinal day?
Yes. I really failed to see that England can be that poor again in the first half of that game. They were very poor. And we saw a response against France when we were rubbish.
Yeah.
Come out against the Netherlands, spanked them 4-0, and it was a good performance. I think that England is going to come out and really dictate this game and play the way that England should play. Am I saying this as an England fan? Of course, but I'm also saying it as somebody who's watched England be average and mediocre for a lot of years. And now we actually up to a standard where we're holding them accountable for when they're playing poorly. I think that they showed so much heart and determination, and no team has come back from 2-0 down in the Euros to ever win a game like that.
That's right.
And so I think that's going to give them a ton of confidence. And Sarina has some decisions to make. She has a lot of decisions to make about who she's starting and where they're playing. And I don't know why she doesn't like Maya Letitia, because Maya Letitia had a good season for Manchester United.
We've talked about this. Like, it is kind of shocking that one of the best center backs in the WSL isn't getting any playing time for England.
Yeah, I mean, Esme Morgan played well when she come on. I'm not saying that she didn't.
She played fantastic. It's not about her at all. It's just kind of a comment on how Maya Letitia hasn't gotten any time. But maybe she will now, because, like you said, the back line's kind of a question mark. Because I'm just going to make the case for Italy. Why not? I mean, I do think that England will take this, but I'm going to make the case for Italy. England went to war. Like, that was a war zone out there on that field. They played an entire extra 30 minutes plus penalty kicks. That is draining not only physically, but also emotionally, mentally, everything. Italy played 90 minutes and beat Norway. They've got an extra day of rest under them as well. And their strength in how they attack is the weakness of England. And so when you think about it that way, you know, it could align for Italy. It could. It does. It will have to take England having a bad day, but it could align. It all is going to hinge on what England do on the back line. I personally would rather see them come out with a back 3, push Lucy Bronze up, and just take it. Just start strong. Just go for it and take it to Italy. I don't want to see a back 4. I don't know if Leah Williamson's going to be there, but even if she is, if you don't want Jess Carter in there, play a back 3, see what happens.
No, I don't think we're going to see a back 3.
I would like to.
We're going to see we would love to see a back 3, but we're going to see a back 4.
Do you think we'll see Jess Carter starting?
See, Sarina loves to do this, where she'll start her. Like, she really just loves to wind us up, and then Jess Carter will probably have like a phenomenal game, and we'll be like, okay, sorry, Sarina. Like, you know, I mean, in Sarina we trust, obviously, but I just think that if Williamson's fit, it's Williamson and Greenwood, or Williamson and Esme Morgan. It can't be Carter. And I thought Neem Charles had a good game at left back when she come on.
She did.
I think she made a case for herself. The only thing that Alex Greenwood brings you as a left back is she's left-footed and she can deliver a ball. But I don't think she was that good against Sweden with the balls that she put in the box. No. I think she was good defensively, but not so much with the quality going forward.
I'm with you, though. I'd like to see either of those combinations. Either push Greenwood into the middle and put Neem Charles at left back, or keep Greenwood at left back and put Esme Morgan in at center back. But I do think based on that performance, Jess Carter has lost her starting role.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Italy going forward, but you haven't talked about Italy defensively, and they're poor. So
England, I did say that they were poor. I said I was shocked it was 0-0.
But in this game,
that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
start with a back three and just go for it, because England can exploit a back line that has holes in it. So why not just put yourself ahead early? Just go for it.
I don't even think they need to. I think we've got enough firepower up front to beat them. I just honestly, I think about like Lauren James, Chloe Kelly. I think about Hemp. I think about Russo, Aggie Mang. I think about Stanway. I think we have too much going forward for Italy defensively. I'm not saying offensively they can't cause us problems, because they can, but this game could end up like 3-2 or whatever, as long as England win it, right? But I don't think it's going to.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Prayers up for me.
Let's move on to the other side of the bracket. All right, we aren't going to spend a lot of time on the third quarterfinal for obvious reasons, because let's get to France-Germany. But we do have to do a moment on Spain-Switzerland, and a moment of silence for Switzerland as our hosts went out. I will say, everybody knows I love a host nation. I love a host nation winning. I'll just outright come forward and say I wasn't super hyped about the Euros being in Switzerland. I'm not going to lie. Small stadiums, super expensive. It just didn't feel great. But they've won me over. They've turned me into a fan. And to see how the home nation and the home country and the home fans really like turned out for their team this tournament, it's been like honestly one of the biggest highlights for me. And so I'm sad to see them go out, but what a valiant performance. Much better than anybody expected from them. What an organized low block.
Yeah, I think that Pearson Hager's done a good job with that team. They didn't expect to get as far as they did, and I think that they got really lucky against Finland. I'm going to say that because I thought Finland were really good, and I was sad that they went out.
We both wanted Finland and Switzerland to advance instead of Norway, but that wasn't in the cards. I also haven't said Spain beat Switzerland 2-0 in this game, and let us discuss. Go ahead.
I think that Switzerland came out, they had a game plan. They obviously had some attackers up with some pace, which was the plan, right? To counter-attack as quickly as possible. And they had some moments. They did have some moments in the first half. Not anything clear-cut, I would say, where you're like, okay, Spain worried and on the back foot. But they were disciplined. And I thought Leah Volti had a really good first half.
Yeah.
I thought that she also had a really good second half besides the second goal, which I don't know why she stopped. Why you stop play? Just continue to play. Like, that wasn't a foul. You've got to keep playing, and you've got to press Pina, because she's called that in the top corner, but you've got to press her and make it harder for her. Like, she's just had free range to do whatever she wants and take her time and put a nice curl on it, whip in the top corner.
If given enough time, Claudia Pina is going to score a worldie, and that's what is exactly what happened. She was my pick for Golden Boot. I chose Esther Gonzalez, and then I traded Esther Gonzalez in for Claudia Pina, which I was regretting until this game, and then Claudia Pina tucked one away. So pat on the back to me. One closer.
Well done. Well done to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I agree. I want to give Leah Volti credit. I want to give Noelle Meritz credit, who we might have to talk about because she got a red card in the dying minutes of that game. Perhaps, maybe not necessary, but I don't know. I was a little skeptical, to be honest, because we all knew what this game was going to be. We knew Switzerland were going to sit back in a back five. We knew it was going to be 90 minutes of Spain throwing everything they have at Switzerland, trying to break down a low block, which, by the way, is insanely difficult. And in my opinion, for me at least, has always been like the hardest thing to do in soccer, is to break down a low block. But Switzerland came out strong. I was skeptical of pulling Leah Volti back from the midfield into that five back. I didn't love it. If you're already going to give up, like, you're already not going to have possession against Spain, why then pull your main possession player out of the midfield and into the back line? I see the benefit. I see how it worked out for them. I kind of wonder what would happen if they had slotted another center back in instead and allowed Leah Volti just play in front, which she kind of was doing already. She was playing almost like what the old school players would call a stopper position. But, I mean, you know, I'll clap it up for Pia Sundhag, who was in some pretty hot water, I think, with everybody who's a Swiss national team fan before this tournament started, and I think she kept her job, because what a performance from the Swiss.
Yeah, they lost a lot of games going into this competition, and there was a lot of question marks about how well they would actually do. As the host nation, you're supposed to bring it. You're supposed to be competitive. and it adds to the competition. If you can stay in longer, it adds to the atmosphere. And you saw what the Swiss brought. They're not a huge football nation, but they really backed their team. And you can see what can happen from tournaments of this scale being held in places like Switzerland and England previously. It just really, it gives a boost to the game, and it helps it take off. And we've seen so much growth in England alone from the 2022 Euros, and we hope that we see that amount of growth from the 2025 Euros in Switzerland, and that we're just encouraging, young girls and women to go out and play more football there.
Yeah. All right, let's briefly do Spain, because I feel like we got to give credit where credit is due, because, we can expect them to roll over Switzerland all we want. But like I said, a low block is the hardest thing to break down in soccer. And this was a very organized low block. So a tip of the hat to them. It was really nice to see them give the guard of honor to Switzerland after the game. That was a cute moment. But I mean, here's my thing with Spain. They're incredible. They're a team that can and should beat anybody on any given day if they show up. Because, I mean, look at them. Just literally look at their lineup. Look at who's on the bench. Look at everything. It's like an embarrassment of riches, like I've almost never seen before. And I don't know. I think that this game, I'm sorry to make it bigger, but like so many, like Bonmati has come out and said, hey, nothing has changed since the 2023 World Cup. And they've also been very vocal that in the 2023 World Cup, everything kind of hinged on the players. Like there was no coaching that helped them along. It was them breaking down the game, them analyzing it themselves, them figuring it out on the fly in those 90 minutes, how they were going to win that game. The fact that they won a World Cup like that is insanity, but that's just how good they are. And for me, this game just kind of screamed the same thing, where we knew nothing different was coming with Monse Tomé. It's not like that's a surprise, but it just kind of made my heart sad to watch this, because all I could really see is a bunch of players who were by themselves figuring it out on the fly. And they did a great job, but it just saddens me.
Well, they missed the penalty, right? So
yeah.
Caldente had the chance to. Caldente's penalty.
Caldente's penalty was pretty tough. Yeah. Speaking
bad.
Of memes, there is a meme of Caldente just like with her picture pointing at the camera, and it just says, "I refuse." Mariana Caldente when asked to score against Switzerland.
This is a case for you in the starter step, because she did do a starter step and she missed. So I think that's a poor use of the starter step, I'll say. And it was not even close. It was very wide. So yeah, they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle in the next game at the back, because Alexandri's suspended.
That's right. So we have to talk about that. Alexandri got her second yellow. She's not playing in the next game. Listen, their backline was already, I think, their weak point, and now without one of their starting center backs, it's going to be extra tough. I hate that cards aren't wiped after the group stages. I think it's just the dumbest rule in the world.
Well, I mean, we've seen now a Germany team who's going to be without their key players because of the second yellow card rule, and we look at Spain's back line here, and we look at Ana Batlle, Irene Paredes, Olga Carmona, and Lai Alexandri are the most capped players, matches played. And then you look at, there's a drop-off. Maria Mendes has 8 caps, Laila Wahabi has 5, and Yana Fernandez has 3. So who are going to come into that role? Probably, maybe Wahabi, but probably Mendes, I would say. She's more capped. Who knows what they're going to do there in that instance. They don't have a lot of depth at the back, and because they have such outstanding quality in the midfield and the forward line, it's often not used. You don't need the back line. They're not doing anything. I mean, you looked at the goalkeeper. I think the Katakol had like barely any touches of the ball. Yeah. She wasn't doing anything. So,
Well, that's also what needs to be discussed. Is like this is going to be Spain's first time like truly being tested, and that's no disrespect to Italy, who they were in a group with, to Switzerland, who they just beat in the quarterfinals. But you look at who all of these other teams have played who are going to be in a semifinal, and it's a hell of a lot different. And Spain haven't been tested. So do we really know how they're going to show up? I think France would have done a lot better against Spain than a battered Germany, but I can't say I'm sad that France lost, because by the end of that game, I was rooting for Germany. But we'll come on to that in 2 seconds. I think you make a good point. I think, I think without a doubt, the demise of Spain will be their backline, both because of what you just said and because of Alexandri missing that game because of the 2 yellow cards, which is also what you just said. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that Germany's really going to struggle to contain this front line, because wherever you look, and you look at the subs too,
it's scary. I mean, it's pretty scary.
Patri Guijarro is the metronome. She's everything that they need to hold down the midfield. She
really is.
She's got a lot of I guess she goes under the radar a lot because of everybody else doing so much.
Not in my mind,
in terms of scoring,
but definitely in the world. That is for sure. Yeah, I mean, she's sitting in the midfield with Bonmati and Putea. She's the only midfielder in the Spanish lineup that hasn't won a Ballon d'Or, which is crazy because Patri Guijarro, I agree, arguably maybe the most important player right now for this team. I love that Esther Gonzalez, by the way, has been starting. Like, Esther has been up and down with the Spanish national team, and she's having quite the tournament. Maybe my favorite thing was everybody finding out she's only 5'1". She's so tiny.
She's such a natural goal scorer. She's tiny, but she's such a natural goal scorer. She's like Aggie Mang for England. Like, you need somebody like that who has the predatory instincts in the box, who's going to score for you. And that's why she scored goals, because she's just there in the right position. She has that striker's instinct naturally.
Yeah, anybody who watched Gotham FC knows that too.
Right. But what we do know about Spain is that they huffed and puffed and they couldn't break Switzerland down until they made substitutions. And we look at the substitutions that came on, and Athenia with the first goal was a nice curled finish. And then, Claudia Pino with she started the game, but that was an unreal curler in the top corner. And Vicky Lopez brought something different to the game. And then you look at Paralawejo, also came on. Like, how as a team playing against them, and you look and you're like, okay. And then Lucia Garcia came on in the Lafdaya minutes.
Yep.
It's just quality throughout the midfield and attacking wise, and they all seem to be. They play in that very Spanish style, and they know how to play, and the possession of the ball is phenomenal. And the little flick from Bonmati for the first goal was just so nice. Gorgeous. Just to be creative and get that ball in behind with a back heel was lovely.
Their ability to play in the tightest of tightest spaces is beyond me. Like, I watch it and I get just mind blown. The fact that they even dare to play in those small spaces. Like, those are spaces that if you gave me the ball, I'd be like, let me turn around and play this out of pressure. But they just dare to go forward in those spaces, and it's pretty wild. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So I can't, I can't see Germany beating Spain, but we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get past this epic game that we've just watched.
Let's do it. And finally, to cap it off, I mean, what to even say? France against Germany, it was 1-1 after 90 minutes. It was still 1-1 after extra time. And Germany win it in penalty kicks, but I think the biggest headline here is that they took it 1-1 through extra time with 10 players. And the commentary kept saying, oh, since the 13th minute they've had... No. They had 10 players basically since the jump, because right from the jump, Linder went down with an injury, was off for a very long time getting treatment, and I don't think Germany spent more than a cumulative 4 minutes with 11 players on that field in that entire game.
There was a point where they had 9 players as well, because another player was off the field injured, and it was at a crucial time too, where you're just like willing them to get players back on the pitch. But the Linde injury was a pretty bad ankle sprain. It looked like I think that her own player trod on her ankle actually, and it caused the sprain. And they were taping her up furiously, trying to get her back in the game. And it just took so long to do that. It was just like, we'll just make the substitution now, because she's clearly not going to be able to continue. You've just wasted all that time. But what also really surprised me about Germany was they made that one substitution and didn't make substitutions for the entire 90 minutes plus 8 minutes of added on time, and then continued into extra time and didn't make substitutions until, quite
kind of like the second half of extra time. They finally made some substitutions. Yeah. Hey, it surprised me too, but I was also sitting here being like, well, it's quite the delicate balance. When something's working with 10 players, you're kind of scared to adjust it, because you never know. It really is a delicate balance. You never know what might throw it off. So I totally get it. And they wrote it out as much as they could. Julie Brand was, I mean, I don't know how she has the fitness that she has. I would have assumed she was playing right back for how deep she found herself consistently on that back line of Germany, and then somehow also managed to get forward on every attack that Germany also had. For the record, she was playing in the midfield. Like, just incredible. I don't know where to begin with this. It was, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know where to start. It was a crash out like of epic proportions for France, who is a team that we always rank high. We always value high. We're always like, France could win this. They absolutely could win this. They have the personnel. I truly felt something was different about France this year because they made the changes. There was no Randy Renard. There was no Les Sommer. They made these changes that felt like they needed to be made. There was a spark. And as soon as Germany went down to 10 players, which we will talk about that red card in a second, it really did feel like this was France's to lose. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe it's too harsh to say that it was a crash out of epic proportions, because we just spent this whole time talking about how hard a low block is to break down, and Germany's low block was pretty fantastic. But also at the end of the day, you are playing 11 versus 10 for 120 minutes, and I think that a crash out kind of fits with that. If you're going to lose when you're playing up by one player for 120 minutes.
Yeah, France, very disappointing. Honestly, I had high hopes for them after the first game against England. I was genuinely concerned that France were going to go on and win this tournament. From somebody who's not a huge French fan, to be honest, but I really do like the players on France. Don't get me wrong. I think that the quality that they have is what makes this so disappointing, because not only do they have quality in the starting 11, they have supreme quality coming off the bench, where you're almost in that same position as Spain, as just envious of how much attacking quality France has.
Couldn't agree
and
more.
how slowly they move the ball.
Yeah.
Why? When you shifted the ball quickly, they scored. It was offside, granted. I think it was Cascarino, and it was offside for that goal. But when they shifted the ball quickly, that's when they were dangerous, and that's when they created the penetrating opportunities and the goal-scoring opportunities. But for them to go 120 minutes at that pace and not really assert themselves as much as they should have, considering how much, skill, speed, quality they have on the ball, the people they can call on to change the games. You've got Majri who came on, Kashwari, like so many good players. And it just really was disappointing. And it's almost it's similar to Norway in what we're saying, a crash out.
Yeah.
But in a different way, where the expectation on France was high coming into this. They hadn't lost games for a long time. They were unbeaten this year, I believe. And they played some good teams. I think they played Brazil in their last warm-up game and they beat them 3-2. It was almost like this manager had come in and said, right, this is what we're doing. We're getting rid of they're not dead wood, but they're players who he wanted to freshen it up.
He said, we're turning the page. Here's the new leaf, and we're going to bring some energy in. It did feel different. They were my favorites going into this game. Like, before the quarterfinals started, I thought France were the best team in this tournament, hands down. Arguably, they were, but they had a terrible day. And like you said, the depth is outstanding. I thought Sandy Baltimore was utterly fantastic for France in this game, and perhaps if she had been on the field a little earlier, this might have been a different outcome. I mean, Germany just didn't have an answer for how she could move the ball. I mean, I'm still astounded by how she was moving the ball around with. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Millard, Majri, mentioned Baltimore, all of them coming off of the bench. And not to mention, like you said, just the starting lineup, Katoto, Cascarino, Diani. That's the front three. Like, that's a wild front three. The Baca Brand duel that happened all game long was a joy to watch. And I thought that Brand got absolutely the best of it. But maybe it was the difference of, like you said, France were slow. They were slow mentally. Jen Beattie on commentary kept saying, like, there's no urgency. There's no urgency. Where's the urgency? That's mental. It obviously comes out through play where there's no urgency in your play, but it comes from your mentality. Germany were outstanding. We can get into the players, but let's just also start with the red card. What kicked it all off at minute 13, Catherine Hendrick.
What are you doing? No, seriously, what are you doing? And then acting surprised that you are being sent off for that is embarrassing. You can't. How can you be surprised at such a blatant hair pull? It's embarrassing. And then obviously it's a penalty. There's no question. You can't do that.
That's the most clear-cut penalty red card I've almost ever seen in my life. And to be honest, it's disappointing on so many levels. It's disappointing because she's a leader on this team. It's disappointing because, like, just what are you doing?
I agree. I think that also if she's reaching to grab her on the shoulder,
yeah,
and then grabs her hair, let go. You don't have to continue the motion.
That's the thing where we saw her hand linger.
Let go. What are you doing? I just think it's very disappointing that you've put your team in that position and you are an experienced player and the world is watching what you're doing. And all of the things you've mentioned, completely valid, like totally valid points. And she was brought in because she's experienced. They needed her in the back line. They're decimated at the moment. And to do that within, 15 minutes? 10,
it was in the 13th minute of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about that as we come on to the semifinal preview in just a second. But like you said, they're decimated in the back line, right? Because what happened was they switched Linder from the left side in this game. She usually starts at left back. They put her experience in the right back role, which is where they were weak because Gavin was hurt. And then Carlotta Vamser is then suspended. So then you pull Linder all the way over. Like you said, they're utterly decimated. I mean, let's just spend a moment before we get into the semifinal. Because this was as much of a destruction of, like, an internal destruction by France of themselves. It was also equally Germany being utterly fantastic. You can say it. Amy's having a hard time right now.
No, I'm actually really not.
Okay.
I think we...
I thought you were having a hard time giving Germany their props.
No, 100% not. I think that our group chat was going off. We have the Euros group chat, and I always struggle to say I want Germany to win because I don't. I just didn't want France to win. But I could not stop myself from feeling that Germany were entitled to win this game because of the amount of heart and soul they put into it. It just reminded me of England's second half and 90 extra time and penalties performance. It reminded me a lot of how much this means to them. And although Nuskin missed that penalty, Nuskin was unreal.
If
you watch
she scored the goal.
But look at the tackles she's made. Yeah. You have to just watch how many tackles she makes.
It wasn't just her, though, and they'll miss her. That might be the biggest miss by far for the semifinal.
Well, I thought that Hoffman was just...
Hoffman was outstanding.
For what? Is this her fourth?
This is either third or fourth cap, yeah.
Yeah.
It's her first start. Third or fourth cap, first start for the national team.
Did not stop. She was all over the place. She made it so hard for France. She won free kick after free kick. She made it so hard for them. And things happen for teams that chase things down.
She was chasing every ball that came her way. For me, listen, I was skeptical of Schuler coming into this tournament because, you know, speaking of players who just have a natural talent to score, Alexandria Popp is no longer with the German national team. She's retired, and Schuler's kind of like tasked with filling her shoes, which are massive, impossible shoes to fill. But Schuler doesn't have that same instinct for goal. And we saw Schuler not get the start today, and Hoffman got that start. And I will say, like, I think it should be Hoffman's start in the next game as well. The way she played, she was outstanding. It was beyond her years. What she added, the elements that she added to this German team was fantastic. I'll say it again, Julie Brand, like, I've never seen somebody... I would love to see how many miles she ran in that game. I'm going to guess 10 plus. Like, unbelievable. But, I mean, we can go around the field, but all things lead back to Ann-Katrin Come on now. I mean, let's just say it. Germany lose that game if it's not for AKB. That one save, you said it was the best save you've ever seen by a goalkeeper.
It was. I think it was the best save I've ever seen. It was... for her to change direction, backpedal, and pull it out of the goal like that, all of us were kind of just lost for words at how good that was. And I hope it doesn't get lost in this whole game because there was so much going on. That it doesn't get lost that she made that save. And she also made, you forget this, she made 2 saves before they scored that rebound goal, which was disallowed for offside, rightly so. Those 2 saves were crucial as well. If she doesn't make those, it's a different story. And I think that when you have a goalkeeper that is that confident, and Jen Beattie said this on commentary over here, it breeds confidence to the back four. It breeds confidence to the rest of the team. They know that there's somebody behind them who's solid. You can rely on them. And not only that, I mean, we know that she can score penalties too. So in the penalty shootout, it was like, okay, well, she's going to score that. And she's going to make saves too, because that's just what she does. I think that hopefully Jess Carter gets some inspiration from her as her fiance. That's all I could say about that one. But yeah, no. Somebody who was the third choice German goalkeeper not long ago has really she's having her Mary Earps moment now, because Mary Earps in the same vein with England. She was the third choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, AKB had this moment in the Olympics as well. Also, I mean, I've eaten my words many times, because before the Olympics I said we're done with the AKB era of Germany. And hey, back-to-back tournaments now. I was wrong. I will say, and Couchenberger, not great showing in the group stage. This game absolutely made up for it. Hands down, no question. Germany lose this game if it wasn't for Anne Katrinberger. Like, period, the end. And the last thing I'll say about Germany, why I picked them to win this tournament, is their depth. We talked about scary depth. We talked about how France had it. Spain certainly have it. I think England have it as well, frankly. Leah Schuler came off of the bench. De Brits came off the bench. Linda Dahlman came off of the bench, buried her penalty kick. Woof! She took that literally unstoppable penalty kick by Linda Dahlman. I mean, yeah, this team is deep, and quite frankly, they're showing their depth, because any other team that suffered this many injuries and this many suspensions just frankly wouldn't be in the tournament anymore. And they are in it because of their bench. But we'll see how it can hold up, because let's do this semifinal. It's Germany and it's Spain.
Oof, this is a big one.
This is huge.
I'm not saying the other side isn't huge, because obviously I care more about the other side being English.
But this is the one we're all circling.
Right. I think this is the one where, I mean, it could be. I'm not saying. Hopefully England make it to the final, right? That's my hope. And it could be a repeat of the 2022 Euros final, or it could be a repeat of the World Cup final in 2023. I am not ruling Italy out by any means, and this is no English arrogance on my part.
No, just that's a possibility.
Right, I'm just like noting the possibilities that this could happen. And I think that Spain have not really gotten out of second gear, so
no, that's why this is interesting, because they haven't been challenged.
And it would have been interesting to see a France-Spain matchup. Because of that, I think that France could have caused them a lot more problems going forward.
I had the same feeling.
Germany are Germany, and they're Germany for a reason. They have efficiency. They have a game plan. They execute well. They execute penalties well. We can see that they're going to battle for each other, and I think that this matchup is going to be a crazy matchup. I think that the physicality of Germany versus the tiki-taka football of Spain is going to be interesting, and whoever scores first is also going to be I think the ones who can go on and win the game. And I've said that I think that Spain are going to beat Germany, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
You think it'll be high scoring or low scoring?
Low scoring. The only high scoring game that Germany have been involved in is the 4-1 loss to.
Yeah, Germany can't score a lot of goals. They just don't score a lot of goals. So if it's a high scoring game, Spain certainly will win.
Right.
It's tough, because there's a lot of elements to this, and a lot of them kind of point away from Germany. Like, they're the ones who went 120 minutes. They're the ones with one fewer days of rest. They're the ones with suspensions and injuries. So that's a lot of knocks on Germany. But they're also the ones that have been challenged. And that's a knock on Spain. Germany have effectively now played 2 games with 10 players. So I do wonder if coming out, and if they end up not getting a red card in this game, I wonder if they'll feel like, oh, hey, this is pretty easy with 11 players. We haven't done this in a while. Since they played against Sweden with 10, and now they played against France with 10. I don't know.
Well, they got battered against Sweden.
They got battered, yeah, but they still played with 10 players, and that actually, again, when we're talking about exhaustion, that will also play a role. Listen, the quarterfinals were interesting, because it really did feel like the core of every team kind of came out. Like, you couldn't hide from it anymore. Like, the core of France came out and they couldn't do it. And the core of Germany came out and their heart showed and they pulled it out. The same thing happened with England and Sweden. Forever the bridesmaids, never the bride. Like, the core of that team as well showed, and kind of just like the history of these teams in a tournament. And the thing about tournament football is it's not always who's a better team. It's like who can play a better tournament, because tournament football is very different than one-off games.
Well, you look at the 3 out of the 4 teams that are left in. They've all won major championships, so they know how to win championships. Norway being obviously the disappointment here, because they've won championships and they know how to win but this squad doesn't know how to win championships. But these teams specifically, they know how to win things. And Germany has that long history.
Long history.
As European champions, they've won it the most out of anybody. Spain have never won the European Championships. Obviously, they're the World Cup holders. We know that Spain are the best team in the world. I just had a furious debate with my friends about the US being they claim that the US are the best team in the world right now, and I was quite quite taken aback by that statement.
All I'm going to say is, according to FIFA, according to the FIFA
You've
World
played nobody
Rankings,
of note. You've played nobody of note.
I don't believe that the US are the best team in the world right now. I certainly don't. Like you said, for as great as Spain are, the first final of a major tournament that they made was the 2023 World Cup when they won. They got knocked out by England in the quarterfinals of the Euros in 2022. This is their first time ever playing in a semifinal of a European Championship. And that sounds weird to everybody because they're Spain, but it's their first time. I don't know, like, it's easy to look at this matchup and say, oh, it should be Spain, but I'm gonna say screw it. I'm gonna do it. It's Germany.
Oh, you're going Germany?
I'm going Germany. Why not?
Okay. No, I like that. I really want it to be a game where both teams go out and try to play their own style of football and see what happens. Like, if Germany goes and plays and they play in a similar sort of formation to they played today, where they kind of just sit and wait and see what happens, they can maybe get them on the counter attack with 11 players. Let's hope they keep their discipline. We're looking at the injuries now. Linda's probably going to be out. I don't think that she's going to come. I mean, maybe she makes a comeback. Who knows? You've got Hendricks suspended, but you've got Wamsa coming back in. And I thought that Wamsa was really good in the games that she played.
She was outstanding.
Yeah. Julia Gwynn going out obviously is a huge loss, but I thought that Wamsa was top draw.
She's naturally...
She's 21.
She's naturally a midfielder. She was just pulled into the back line, and for somebody who's naturally, playing midfield to play in the back line as she did, I agree. It was outstanding. But yeah, I think Newskin's the biggest loss. That's it.
Oh, 100%.
End of story.
I don't know who they put in that role to fill it. I don't. I mean, what are you bringing in a Debrit for experience? Are you because Hoffman is a midfielder? What are you doing with Hoffman? Are you saying, okay, let's put Hoffman in the middle? There's a lot of things that you can tinker with here. And I think that you Brand and Bull have to be the ones who are
I would agree,
constants in the team.
I would agree. It is funny. Newskin had quite a match against France. Second yellow card, not in this game, but the second yellow card that'll cause her to miss the semifinal. A missed penalty kick, a scored penalty kick, and a scored goal in the run of play. Active, to say the least.
She pretty much had it all. Like, she ticked every box that she could tick, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, we did it. That was the quarterfinals, everybody. Semifinals kick off on Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday are the 2 semifinals. We've got 3 games left in this tournament, and that makes me sad. And that's it for us here at the Women's Soccer Show. We will be back as usual. We've gone off schedule for this one episode because this will be released on Sunday instead of Monday. We're going Monday, Thursday for releases during the Euros, and this is the one off schedule that will be released 24 hours early. You're welcome, everybody. And then your next episode will be back on Thursday once again, and it'll cover all things semifinals that happened on Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's it for us here. I've been Sarah.
I've been Amy.
Thanks, everybody.